Hello, my name is Sana Mukhtar, and I'll be presenting on predicting Dogecoin prices for my capstone. This will be my phase one presentation. Cryptocurrency is a type of digital currency that generally only exists electronically. There is no physical coin or bill unless you use a service that allows you to cash in cryptocurrency for a physical token. People use cryptocurrency for quick payments to avoid transaction fees that are regular bank charges, or because it offers some anonymity. Cryptocurrency is basically a form of payment that can be exchanged online for goods and services. It uses a technology called blockchain, which is a decentralized technology spread across many computers that manage and records transactions. And part of the appeal of this of this technology is basically its security. There are several types of cryptocurrencies, almost over 500 of them. However, the most known, more popular ones are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and more recently, Dogecoin. Dogecoin as a cryptocurrency that started as a joke in 2013. It literally went from being worth less than a penny to 3 cents almost 2 weeks ago. But what has been bringing so much attention to this meme coin, and should Doge even be something you should invest in? Elon Musk started tweeting and paying attention to Doge early in January 2021. With simply tweeting, he was able to get Doge to a high of 7 cents. After his appearance on Saturday Night Live, however, Doge's value drastically decreased. And so the goal for this project is to try to use the historical data of Doge in order to predict the future of this meme coin, and also use while using 3 different predictive models. We'll also be using sentiment analysis of Twitter data and news data in order to see if we can use that to make our predictive models more accurate, since Doge is very volatile and social media seems to have such a big impact on its prices. Some of the research questions that we will like answered at the end of this project is, can we accurately predict the future price of Dogecoin using different time series prediction models? Is there a correlation between the prices of Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum? And if there is there a way we can use the historical data of Bitcoin and Ethereum to help predict Dogecoin prices? How much influence does social media have on the price of Dogecoin? And if we factor in the sentiment analysis of tweets and newspapers too, or news outlets, into our prediction models, would that make our predictions of Dogecoin prices more accurate? And finally, with a summary of all this, is it really worth investing in? So the data sets we're going to be using are coming from Yahoo Finance data and Twitter data. Yahoo Finance data has been a great source that provides people with historical and live data of stocks and cryptocurrencies. This is where we're going to be obtaining our data for Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum historical data. Here's where we're going to be using our open prices, close prices, and volume columns. And from Twitter, we will be using the tweets in order to check the sentiment of those tweets each day and see if they were positive, negative, or neutral. And we'll redo our models, having put them into factor, and see if those sentiments will make our model better or worse, or there'll be no difference. There are some previous works that have been done in predicting cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some that did Dogecoin as well. However, this was going to be different than those, since we're going to be adding sentiment analysis of Twitter data in our training set, in order to see if it could make it more accurate. But also, we're also going to see if Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin are related, and if they have some kind of correlation, can we use the historical data of Bitcoin and Ethereum as training points for the price of Dogecoin? So let's start off with the exploratory data analysis. So these data sets, as you see here, are historical data of Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and these were obtained from Yahoo Finance using the Python package YFinance. By utilizing ticker function from YFinance, we were able to obtain the history of these prices. Starting January 1st, 2021, which is where we're going to be starting all our analysis. Here we see our first plot, which is basically an overview of Dogecoin stock prices this year, including the open and close prices, as well as the highs and lows for each day. As you can see in this graph, there is a dramatic increase in the prices of Dogecoin mid-April. It then hit its peak in May before crashing down. The goal of this project is, after using data analysis, exploration, visualization, and machine learning, to figure out if Dogecoin is actually worth investing in. Thus, the first phase of my project will focus on data analysis and the relationship between Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, if there is even one. And does the increase in Bitcoin price or Ethereum price affect Dogecoin? So let's dig a little deeper to analyze. The first graph you see here, the next graph you see here is basically a plot of opening prices of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. Of course, it's not as it's not really as expressive as you would think, as they're all definitely in different scales, and even if there's like small change of prices of Bitcoin, of Dogecoin because of Bitcoin prices, we can't really see that here. However, since we can view stock prices and cryptocurrency prices as random variables and scatter matrices determine if we have a linear relationship between one or more variables, it's very helpful to pinpoint any specific correlation between different types of data. So we can use scatter matrix from pandas in order to look for a correlation between Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. We did that, and here we can see at the top right, we can see that there could be a relationship between Dogecoin and Ethereum, as there's some kind of linearity between them, and it's kind of going up and in a positive way. So there probably is a positive correlation between them. However, when we see the Dogecoin and Bitcoin, there is no linearity here. It's definitely nonlinear, and we can say that there is little to no correlation between them. The next thing I'd like to talk about is daily percentage change, given by this formula you see above. So here, the RT is basically the return percent at time t, and it's basically equal to the price at time t divided by the price at time t minus 1, all subtracted by 1. And this basically reports a percentage gain or loss. So if you bought a stock on day t minus 1, and you sold it on day t, if you profited from it, your obviously PT should be larger, and this RT would be positive. So the higher your RT, the better it would be for you. Now, even though this is not helpful to attempt to predict future values of stock or cryptocurrencies, it is very helpful to analyze the volatility of the stock or cryptocurrency. So let's say that this daily return has a wide distribution of cryptocurrency, is more volatile. So now, given a piece of information about daily percentage change, we were able to calculate the percentage returns and plot them on histograms. Based on these histograms, we can decide which cryptocurrency is more stable. Let's say you want to invest in a cryptocurrency that is stable in the long run, and you don't really want risks. You don't want to deal with any volatility, and this is the kind of study that would be helpful for these kind of situations. So basically, we were able to plot this for Dogecoin on this histogram. So basically, the width of the bell shape of the histogram, the more volatile it is. So basically, the width of this bell shape is related to the standard deviation of the distribution, and the higher it is, the more variance we have, and the more variance we have of a certain distribution, it's directly related to the standard deviation. So the higher the standard deviation, the higher the variance, so the more volatility we will have in terms of cryptocurrency analysis. So basically, we did the same for Ethereum and Bitcoin, and as you can see, the widest with that of all three was Dogecoin, and this we can say that it is more volatile than the other two. The next thing we did was try to smooth this plot down using kernel density estimate plot. And what it does is it basically takes in a histogram and it tries to fit in a certain kernel. As you can see in this plot, the kernel, the best fits of the histogram for each. So this kernel basically represents a certain probability distribution function. So what we're seeing here is a probability density function compared to the histogram, which was unnormalized, and this KDE is normalized. So the areas of the densities is constant, and this would make it would be better for comparison. So the KDE curve of Doge is wider than Bitcoin and Ethereum, and thus we can say that Ethereum and Bitcoin are more stable, while Dogecoin is more volatile. We then use box plots in order to see the daily percentage, and we can see that the daily percentage of Doge is way more spread out than Bitcoin and Ethereum, which also proves to be that Dogecoin is more volatile than the other two. We can continue using this in order to see the correlation between these cryptocurrencies on their daily returns. So this might kind of answer the question, how related are these three in terms of volatility or stability? So we basically use scatter matrix like before. And here we can actually see some kind of correlation between Dogecoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin and Bitcoin with their returns. Might not say it's a positive or even a negative. It was kind of more flat curve that we see here. Yeah. So the next thing we looked at was cumulative return, which is basically if I invested $1 in January 2021, how much would that dollar be worth today? So we plotted that for Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. As you can see here, if you invested $1 in January 2021 in Dogecoin, that dollar would be worth $40, almost $40 today. So as you can see, for Ethereum and Bitcoin, there really isn't much of a difference, but that's also because one Bitcoin costs thousands of dollars, same as Ethereum. So this is really helpful for people that kind of are starting out and trying to see what kind of investment they want to make. For those that want to go into a long-term stability, let's say you're going through and looking at all three, and which one would you want to invest in between these three? So if you're looking for stability, definitely you should look into Bitcoin and Ethereum based off the analysis we've seen, as Dogecoin is very volatile. However, let's say you only can afford to invest very little, like $40, let's say, and you kind of want the max return on that small amount of money. And for that, you can see that probably Dogecoin might be the way to go for you. So, however, another way that we can compare these three is checking the amount of volume traded each day in order to see the correlation between them. Here we see different peaks of volume traded for all three at different times, which may be telling us that there is barely any correlation between them. However, we can graph the plot of just Dogecoin in order to see what exactly was going on during these peaks. So as you can see in this plot, there was a peak of the volume traded of Dogecoin in the middle of April. So what exactly happened on this specific day that caused it? And could that have been some influence from tweets or the media? So in order to analyze this, we first used argmax in order to find which specific date this occurred. And as you can see here, that is April 16, 2021. And so the next steps for these would be analyzing the correlation between this date and what was going on at that time in the media and tweets, and see if that made a difference for why there was a peak on this specific day. We also looked at the total market cap and not just the cryptocurrency price to see what is more valuable. Now we already know in general it goes Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, but we just wanted to visualize this. And in order to do that, had to calculate to present the total money by multiplying the open price and the volume. And we just stored it out as a new column in our data frame, called it total traded amount. So in the same manner from before, we can see in this plot of just Dogecoin right here that there is a peak of the total amount traded, and that's in early May. And using the same method of argmax method, we arrived with a specific date of May 9, 2021, which is when the peak occurred. And like before, we're going to be analyzing if there's any correlation between this date, tweets, and media, and get into more detail during phase 2 of this project. So the next steps for this project would be doing more exploratory data analysis, mostly on Twitter data and some news data as well for sentiment analysis. We'll also be implementing models in order to make predictive models for prices of Dogecoin using historical data. But since we've seen maybe there might be a correlation between Ethereum and Dogecoin prices, we're going to also try to include Ethereum historical data and see if that could help our predictive models of predicting prices for Dogecoin. Finally, we will be including the sentiment analysis that we did on Twitter, that we're going to do on Twitter and use data into models to check if that influences the accuracy of our models. So the 3 models that I've decided I'm going to be using in the next phases of this project are random forest regressor, which is basically a supervised machine learning algorithm that is widely used because of its flexibility and simplicity. And it uses multiple decision trees and it basically aggregates it to make more stable and accurate predictions. And so we'll be using that to build a classification model that will help us predict whether the prices of Doge close up or close down based on a range of technical indicators. We're going to be using LSTM recurrent neural networks, which are basically very powerful in sequence prediction problems, especially since they're able to store past information. And that's very important to us since we're going to be using a lot of historical data, and that's very crucial in predicting the future of cryptocurrency prices. Finally, we'll be using a simple linear regression model. And that'll be all for me today. Thank you.